If you're a high schooler or college student and you're trying to make the most money this summer or during break or whenever, let me show you some little bit of math that will prove that more hours is king. Let's break down the 40 versus 50 hour comparison here. So let's say you make $20 an hour, but you get 50 hours a week. You get $1,000, which is the same as if you make $25 an hour and you work 40 hours a week. Now, at the beginning, it looks like, okay, so $20 is actually as good as $25 an hour. But what we haven't done yet is we haven't accounted for overtime. So let's run this back. To start, let's see what you make in the normal week. So $20 an hour times 40 hours a week. Pretty simple enough, $800 for that week pre-tax. Now let's go ahead and add in the overtime. You have 10 hours, right? Now that 10 hours is times by your normal rate. And additionally, though, we need to add not additionally, that's kind of confusing. We also need to multiply it by the overtime rate. Here in Washington State, and I think in many places, overtime is paid at time and a half. So here you have this calculation to calculate that you make $1,100 during your 50 hours this week. So now the question is, how much per hour do you need to make working only 40 hours a week for that to be a better job than this 50-hour week job? Well, we can figure that out by simply dividing this number, which is how much you'd receive with the 50-hour a week job, by 40 hours. And you'll see 27.5. So you need to make $27.5 per hour for 40 hours a week in order to equal someone who makes $20 an hour, but they're working 50 hours a week. And of course, they're in a state that gets overtime. But wait, there is a little bit more. In addition to all of this, there was a law passed by Trump that was active. It was passed in the summertime of 2025. However, it became active retrospectively, meaning that it applies to everything, all work that occurred after January 1st. Essentially, what this law did is it made it so that tips and overtime are able to be applied for a tax reduction. So in addition to this difference here, you might also pay less taxes on that overtime money. Now, if we wanted to see this as a percent, we would simply divide this dollar per hour rate by this dollar per hour rate, and we would get the fact that it's 37.5% higher. Of course, it's at 1.375, but that's just a math thing. Anyways, so essentially you need to make 37.5% more just to counter the fact that you're working 25% more hours, right? Because we see 50 divided by 40, we see you're working only 25% more hours, but you're receiving 37.5%